everybody. My name is Shakwe Tuya. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for linking up with me on YouTube and on Facebook. I want to talk to you today about that Amazing Grace. That song was written about 250 years ago. I want to shock my 20-year-old viewers, right? That is so ancient. Even though it is so ancient, it is still as powerful, right? I love that song because I experience the amazing grace every day. So it was written by a person by the name John Newton. He was a captain of his own ship that carried slaves from our motherland, beautiful continent Africa. So he converted to Christianity, or he changed his ways after experiencing a after having a near-death experience. So while he was a captain, he encountered a fierce, violent storm. And he believed he was going to die. But he prayed to God and said, God, have mercy on us. So later on, when he was telling the story, he felt like that God had addressed him through that storm. So he reformed his ways from becoming a facilitator of slavery to becoming champion to abolish slavery. Later on in his life, he influenced a lot of powerful people like William Wilberforce. Do you remember your history? So William was inspired by John, and he sponsored a lot of bills to abolish slavery. And of course, we know what happened, right? So I want to talk to you today about the stories that you tell yourself, the stories that others have told you that you've went ahead and believed. So we are who we are today based on what we have heard and based on what we tell ourselves every day. So I want to challenge those stories. You know, I once heard TD Jakes ask this question that I'd like to ask you, that what if the story that you stand on is blind? What if that story that you stand on is blind? The limitations that you've set for yourself, what if they are fake? What if it's blind? What if there is no ceiling? What if you're believing something that really doesn't exist? So I want to challenge those stories. You probably didn't choose where you're born. You probably, I know that. You didn't choose where you're born. You didn't choose the color of your skin. You might have not chosen even the family that you're born into or you grew up into. But this is one thing that you can do about your story. You can change how your story is written. You can hold a pen of your own story. And I want to talk to you about that today. If one man by the name John can change his ways and influence a whole generation, your change too can influence people. So we all have things that we don't like in our lives. You probably have something that you really hate about your life. You probably hate the relationship that you're in, or maybe you hate the family that you're in. You hate the way you talk to people sometimes, and you feel like, oh my God, I really hate it when I do this. Or you say, oh my God, I hate it when he does this to me, or I hate it when she does this to me. I want to encourage you to make a change today. I want to encourage you to make that change. Perhaps you're in a abusive relationship and the story that you're standing on perhaps is blind. What if it is blind? Perhaps somebody has told you that you can't make it without him or her. Or maybe you're believing it yourself, that if I leave this relationship, oh my God, who's going to support me? He's the only person that I know in this country. Maybe you live in diaspora. Or maybe you are in a city that is not your hometown. Maybe you're in Lagos. Maybe you're in Nairobi. And you left your family far away. And it's come to your mind, or you've become to believe that the person that you're with, or the friends that you're with, or even the church that you go to, that is not serving your needs, is the only place that you can be, because you believe this is your only support system. What if that story is blind? Especially the one that if you are in an abusive relationship. What if you are telling yourself that I'm not good enough and nobody else will love me if I leave this relationship? What if I challenge that story to say it is blind? What if probably you're afraid to be alone and you're like, oh my goodness, if I leave this relationship, I'm going to be alone. What if that story is blind? What if I told you that I'm in a new city and I don't have relatives. I have a job, I have a home, I have happiness, and I have new friends. And I'm thriving and I'm talking to you today. So, what if your story is the story that you're telling yourself is blind? So, I want you to take one step in faith to change the things that you don't like. Maybe you want to lose weight, and your children are watching that. Your little change can change or can influence the next generation. You want to lose weight and you're a parent, your children are watching your struggles and your victories, and you're probably helping them build courage later in their years to remember that if mommy could do it, I can do it. If mommy could say no to abuse, it means that I shouldn't say yes to that. Or if daddy can say no to abuse, if daddy can lose weight, you're influencing. Somebody is watching. Somebody is watching. So I want you to take a step of faith and make that change of the things that you don't like because somebody is watching. Maybe if you change, your neighbors will take a different direction. Maybe if you change, your coworkers will take a new direction. Your little change can influence somebody. And I want you to know that you're not static, that everything that you are today can be dissolved, everything that you are today can be recreated, everything that you are today can be reformed. And perhaps you have a past that you're ashamed of. You don't have to be. In that song Amazing Grace, it says that I once was lost, but now I'm found. You don't have to deny your past. You really don't have to, because it's your foundation. So maybe that difficult thing or shameful thing that you have today is the foundation of your purpose in life. I so believe that everything that is unjust, everything that is shameful, everything that is difficult is the foundation of all things that are beautiful and all things that are uplifting. So I want you to own it. You can own your story and write the end of it. And perhaps you're afraid, you're like, oh my God, where am I going to get the strength to move on? You can always, after taking that little step of faith, you can always pray to God to create in you a new spirit and to renew a firm and a steadfast spirit every day. And that is found in the book of Psalms, chapter 51, verses 10. So you can pray that every day. Change can be scary, but you can do it because people are watching. You can influence people. You can create purpose. You can create a new purpose in your life. So I want you to take that little step today. I don't know what you need to change. I don't know why I'm speaking to you about this. You probably need to hear this. But take that step to make that change, because maybe, just maybe, the story that you stand on is blind. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you taking your time. And let's link up again next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.